you could also say it's a division symbol. So instead of using what we're used to, the line with 2 dots above it as a division symbol, we need to understand that this stage is also a division symbol. On your papers, I want you guys to label right off to the right of this as stage. That's the stage. That's where you set up your long division problem. That's where you set up a division problem that has extra remainders.
And there's 3 special areas of the stage where the 3 main parts or characters of our division problem will go. The first area is here under the long horizontal line on our division symbol. This is the area where we put the number that we'll be dividing up. The fancy math term for this is the dividend.
Let's fill this out on our paper, guys. That portion of underneath the stage is the dividend. Echo read, dividend.
Dividend.
Dividend, dividend, dividend.
Dividend, dividend, dividend.
A dividend is the number dividing up. So on your papers, go ahead and label as dividend. Also put the number dividing up. The dividend is the number being divided. What's the dividend?
A number dividing up.
The number you're dividing up. The dividend is the number you're dividing up. I think they might talk about it, but in our example, 9 divided by 4, do we know what the dividend is? What's the number being divided up? How many Miller millions were being divided up? Cassidy?
9.
9 is the dividend in our example. Let's see if they talk about that.
Most of the time, the biggest number will go because we usually start with a big amount and want to divide it into smaller groups. The second area is out in front of the curved part of the division symbol. This is the area where we put the number we'll be dividing by. The math term for that is the divisor.
Let's get that down. The number on the outside of the stage is the divisor. It's the number you're dividing by. What's the divisor? The number you're dividing by. Echo read divisor.
Divisor.
Divisor, divisor, divisor.
Divisor, divisor, divisor.
It's kind of a fun word, isn't it? Dividend. Divisor. Who thinks they already know what the top one is? Who thinks they know what the top portion is? Thomas, think you know?
In other words, this number will
It's the
tell us
answer.
how many
It's for
groups
sure the
we'll be
answer.
dividing our big amount
It's
into.
got a special name, too.
And the third area is up above the horizontal line. This is where our answer will go once we figure out
See,
what
Thomas? It's where the answer goes.
the answer to a division problem is called the quotient. The answer tells us
The quotient. Thomas, you're right. It's the answer. But it's got a special math term, okay? This vocab term is the quotient. It's another fun word, isn't it? Echo read quotient.
Quotient.
Quotient, quotient, quotient.
Quotient, quotient, quotient.
What is the quotient? The answer, right? It's the answer. So up here is the quotient. It's where you put your answer. It's your answer. So now that we have these vocab terms, dividend, divisor, and quotient, it's going to help us describe division problems easier. When you use the word divisor, there's no questioning what number you're talking about, right? The divisor always will go in the same spot. Your divisor will always be the number dividing by.
Was how many we'll end up with in each group. So whenever you have a complicated division problem to do, the first step is to rewrite your problem in this form. If you have 9 divided by 4 like this, you put the 9 down here, that's the number we're dividing out.
Dividend.
Put the 4 out here, that's the
Divisor.
number we're dividing by. And you're ready to start the next step of the procedure.
We're ready to find the
The
quotient.
next step is the most important step, because it's where you figure out the answer. And to figure out the answer, which is how many you'll end up with in each group after you divide, you have to ask yourself a really important question involving the other two numbers. The question is, how many 4s will it take to make 9, or almost 9? And the key to answering this question is for the number to be just right. Do you remember the story of Goldilocks and the 3 bears? Now one chair was too big and one chair was too small, but the other chair was just right. Well, it's the same way with our division problem. If I choose an answer that's too big or too small, it'll cause trouble. Here's what I mean. Let's say that I decide that I only need 1 4 to make 9. So I'll write a 1 up here in the spot for the answer. Well now, the next step in the procedure is to multiply that answer I put there, the 1, by the number of groups out front here, the 4. And I write the answer to that multiplication down below the number I'm dividing up.
Everybody do that right now. Underneath our vocab terms on your worksheet, you see 4, 9 divided by 4, and you see the 1 above it. They said what this next step in multiplication or division is to do is to multiply the quotient, what you think the answer is, 1, by the divisor. 4 times 1 equals 4. Put the 4 underneath the 9 like they did. Let's see what we do with that 4.
The 9. I do that so I can subtract that amount from the 9 to see how much I'm
subtract it
going to have
away.
left over. See how big the remainder will be. And when I do that, I see that 9 minus 4 will give me 5. That's a pretty big remainder. In fact, the remainder is bigger than the number I'm dividing by, and that's why this answer is trouble. If the remainder is bigger than the number you're dividing by, it means that you should have picked a bigger answer, because each of the groups you're dividing up into could have gotten more than they did. Your answer was too small, and so the remainder was too big.
So real quick, guys, eyes on me. When you're setting up this division problem, and you end up with a remainder that's bigger than the divisor, that means trouble. A red flag should go up, and your brain should go, uh-oh, I must have done maybe something a little wrong. Once again, when you do a subtraction problem, 4 times 1 is 4. 9 minus 4 equals 5. And you go, uh-oh, after a subtraction problem, my remainder is bigger than my divisor. Trouble.
Okay, I guess I better come up with a better answer to the question, how many 4s will it take to make 9, or almost 9? This time, I think I'll pick 3. So, I put a 3 in the answer space, and then I follow the next step of the procedure like I did
What is the
before.
next step?
I multiply the answer I gave
Multiply.
by the
Baby.
number of
You multiply. You first think how many times does the number go into it. Then you multiply.